Here we go, 913-408-7710. We set aside this time every single week for you to rant, to rave, to tirade on whatever you want. It doesn't much matter. The floor is yours. It doesn't have to be what we're talking about today. It doesn't have to be the news cycle. Just you got to get it off your chest before you get to the office, and now is the time to do it. We've got an open line at 913-408-7710. On a Tirade Tuesday. Let's go and start off with Steven. He is in Olathe. Steven, good morning. What's your tirade?
Oh, Pete, man, the grand prize winner has got to be Singapore Airlines for a flatulating emotional support dog, making this couple sit for 13 hours while the dog blows wind and first class, and finally putting them in economy. And then they wouldn't even refund the flight. They gave them $100 credit. I mean, that's kind of even a bigger slap in the face. You just took wind from a dog for 13 hours, and you only get $100 for your trouble. I mean, this is. I don't even want to get on an airplane at this point. I mean, it's.
The airline industry is a mess, Stephen. Thank you very much. Yes, 13-hour flight, if you haven't heard this story. Couple goes viral. They are livid that they get paid, he's right, $100, coupon or whatever they got. That's $7.70 an hour to have a dog farting on you and drooling on you on a 13-hour flight from Paris to Singapore. For crying out loud. Unbelievable. 913-408-7710. The phones are open for you on a Tirade Tuesday on KCMO Talk Radio. Make them good and let's keep them coming. 913-408-7710. Let's go to Daniel. He is in Independence. Daniel, what's going on? What's your Tirade Tuesday?
So there's tow lots that tow your car. You know, if you have it parked at an apartment building or different places, they have contracts. And then once your car's towed, there's you're at their mercy to get it back. They require, proof of a title and all this. Well, there's sometimes situations in which you might not be able to provide the title immediately, and then you lose your car. My situation is that my son, who bought his dream car, was killed, and before he could transfer the title. So now I don't have a title, and I'm going to lose this car because the process is going to take too long. And if you go to the tow lot, they say, we're not going to work with you because the law is on their side. They need to have some sort of third-party person you can go to, make your case, who doesn't have a vested interest in keeping your car, that would have some leverage over these tow lots, keeping your car.
Oh, my goodness. So, Daniel, first, I'm so sorry on the loss of your son. And now you've got to deal with this car lot tow situation.
Right.
So
I wanted to give the car to his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're just going to have to play it out.
So what are you waiting on right now exactly?
Well, I started to put it into probate, and that's going to take a couple of weeks, and then the DMV is going to, who knows how long. And, after 30 days, they can just sell the car.
They can sell the car?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. That's got to be something. I don't know if that's a local issue or a state issue, but everything about that is just wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And they just play hardball. The law's on their side.
Daniel, thank you for sharing that. I'm sure it was difficult to do, but, I'm grateful you did.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're praying for you. That is Daniel in Independence on KCMO. Whew, that's a tough Tirade Tuesday, but very understandable. Gosh. 913-408-7710 on a Tirade Tuesday. Let's go to Wes. He is in Gladstone. Hello, Wes. What's your tirade?
Yeah, well, I'm tired of hearing you complain about Frank White, and I got 3 reasons why, okay? First of all, Democrats unfortunately, do not listen to your show so they can be educated.
Well,
Okay?
that's not true. That's not true. The notion that it's a bunch of Wesses and Gladstone that are on KCMO, that's not the full makeup of the audience as we have it with the Data West. Now, I'm not suggesting that we've got the KCUR crowd here that, wakes up one day and thinks that they're a girl and the next day they're a boy and they got their Black Lives Matter signs hanging out their front door. But this is a more politically diverse and culturally diverse, I would say, audience than you may believe, and others. I'll leave it at that.
Well, let's just say that not enough Democrats listen to your show to get educated.
That's fine. Okay, fine. Okay.
Okay. 2, Frank White is a black man who has a D by his name on Election Day. He's going to have that job for as long as he wants, okay? But more importantly, anybody will tell you ball players are not the sharpest knife in the drawer, okay? Besides being able to hit and throw a baseball, all they're good at, spitting and scratching. That's who the county executive is, a guy who's good at spitting and scratching, man. So you can.
Here's the thing, though, Wes.
Windmill, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the tirade. Here's the thing, though, about this Frank White deal and this Jackson County assessment issue. It's not a left-right thing. It's not Democrat-Republican. It's just you're literally getting screwed by your county. I'm not sitting here saying that Jackson County should give you some massive break on your assessment. I'm just saying that your assessment should be what the home is actually worth. That's it. That's not a Democrat, Republican, right, left. There's nothing about that that's political. So that's where this is something that should be as unifying and as bipartisan as anything in the Kansas City region since pre-COVID. So I don't view it that way. 913-408-7710 on a Tirade Tuesday. Victor, Parkville, go.
Good morning, Pete. Yeah, the thing that's really irritating me now is that, this convict in Pennsylvania, now he has a gun, he's armed, he's got a .22 caliber rifle with a 10-round magazine. Okay, great. Yeah, I get it.
I don't know. What are you talking about? I admit I have no idea what you're talking about.
You haven't been listening to the news. This guy Conte, the escaped convict.
Oh, the convicted killer? Okay. Well, sorry. Pennsylvania news stories are not high on my... But anyway, go ahead. Sorry. Continue.
It's part of your news wheel. Talk to John. He'll fill you in. But now this guy's got a .22 caliber rifle. But they're acting like he's walking around with an AR-15 or a 30-06 or a BAR. It's a .22. Yeah, it can be lethal, but it's a step up from a high-powered pellet gun. I mean, how hysterical do you have to be about the Second Amendment to be overreacting that much about a .22 long rifle?
So your suggestion is that the media is using this story of this escaped convict who is armed with a rifle to pursue or at least highlight big, scary guns as a way to, use that as their most recent talking point against the Second Amendment?
I think it's twofold. I think, one, the reporter probably really doesn't have a clue what a .22 caliber rifle is all about. It's a varmint gun or a target shooting gun. It's not a lethal weapon that people go out and go on it. When was the last time somebody went on a killing spree with a .22 long rifle?
Yeah.
Okay? That's one. And two, I think the way they report it, it's a gun, so it has to be bad. If it was a high capacity BB gun, they'd probably react about it. Freaking nut jobs.
Thank you, Victor, for the tirade. All right, we're going to end Tirade Tuesday with Mark. Mark's got a tirade he's been saving all morning long. Mark, what is your tirade? Let it rip.
Well, I gotta rip on Chris Jones's agents, the Katz Bros. These guys have been hanging around Kansas City for the past week, hanging out in the bushes outside of the Ronald McDonald House last week when they were giving out flags. They were sitting in the booth up there with Chris Jones, or not the booth, the nice suite. They were sitting up there with Chris Jones, and all of this for the breaking news that just came down about 10 minutes ago. Chris Jones, set to make the exact same amount of money this year, $19.5 million base salary, with the incentives to potentially get up to $25 million. He already owes $3 million in fines for missing training camp, missing practices, missing preseason, missing the first game. So maybe he could make $2 million more this year. Way to go, Cats Bros.
Way to go, you greasy agent slums. Oh, gosh, those two Cats Bros, when you saw them last week at the press conference with Chris Jones, they just reeked of slime. That's what they did.
He needs to fire these guys. Although I will say this, I really hope he hits all the incentives because it looks like he'll make $1 million if they make a Super Bowl appearance. $2 million for Defensive Player of the Year and a Super Bowl win. So hoping he can get that.
Yeah, but these aren't even these incentives. Here's once again a sign that he got screwed. The incentives are not just about his own performance, right? Like he could have the greatest game in the Super Bowl, and he could have 4 sacks in the Super Bowl. Mahomes throws 4 picks, God forbid, and they don't win the Super Bowl, and he's out $2 million. You're right. His agent screwed him.
He needs to fire him, get new ones, and sign another deal with the Chiefs.
What amateur hour. I mean, gosh.
Crazy.
Whew. Well, he's back. But I wonder what the response is going to be, too, from fans. I'm not saying Chris Jones is going to get booed, but, he was in that kind of echelon of could do no wrong. And now it's like, dude, you did that to sit out and miss a game to maybe make another $1 million? I hope it was worth it to you, my man. And good for the Chiefs, by the way, putting the screws to him. You want to be here or not?